Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Each year, Muslims of all ages around the world eagerly wait the announcement to commence 30 nights and 30 days of self-growth, spiritual purification, contemplation and knowledge. Some of us are blessed to have learnt a tremendous amount about Islam and Ramadan during childhood, but for the rest of us, acquiring knowledge is a lifelong journey recently started. Minhaj Sisters UK organised this online series, The Spiritual Path to Purity, so we can learn together how to best take advantage of the blessings of Ramadan this year. In this session, we will learn how to engage with the Quran this Ramadan with Ambreen Mehmood. But before that, I would like to invite Maryam Ahmed from Scotland to recite the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم طه ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى إلا تذكرة لمن يخشى تنزيلا ممن خلق الأرض والسماوات العلى الرحمن على العرش استوى له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وما بينهما وما تحت الثرى وإن تجهر بالقول فإنه يعلم السر وأخفى الله لا إله إلا هو له الأسماء الحسنى وهل أتاك حديث موسى إذ رأى نارا فقال لأهلهم كثوا إني آنست نارا لعلي آتيكم منها بقبس أو أجد على النار هدى فلما أتاها نودي يا موسى إني أنا ربك فاخلع نعليك إنك بالواد المقدس طوى وأنا اخترتك فاستمع لما يوحى إنني أنا الله لا إله إلا أنا فاعبدني وأقم الصلاة لذكري إن الساعة آتية أكاد أخفيها لتجزى كل نفس بما تسعى فلا يصدنك عنها من لا يؤمن بها واتبع هواه فتردى وما تلك بيمينك يا موسى قال هي عصاي أتوكأ عليها وأهش بها على غنمي ولي فيها مآرب أخرى قال ألقها يا موسى فألقاها فإذا هي حية تسعى قال خذها ولا تخف سنعيدها سيرتها الأولى وادمم يدك إلى جناحك تخرج بيضاء من غير سوء آية أخرى لنريك من آياتنا الكبرى اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى قال رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي أشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا قال قد أوتيت سؤلك يا موسى ولقد مننا عليك مرة أخرى إذ أوحينا إلى أمك ما يوحى أن اقذفيه في التابوت فاقذفيه في اليم فليلقه اليم بالساحل يأخذه عدو لي وعدو له وألقيت عليك محبة مني ولتصنع على عيني إذ تمشي أختك فتقول هل أدلكم على من يكفله فرجعناك إلى أمك كي تقر عينها ولا تحزن وقتلت نفسا فنجيناك من الغم وفتناك فتونا فلبثت سنين في أهل مدين ثم جئت على قدري يا موسى واصطنعتك لنفسي اذهب أنت وأخوك بآياتي ولا تنيا في ذكري اذهبا إلى فرعون إنه طغى فقولا له قولا لينا لعله يتذكر أو يخشى قالا ربنا إننا نخاف أن يفرط علينا أو أن يطغى قال لا تخافا إنني معكما أسمع وأرى قال لا تخافا إنني معكما أسمع وأرى صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah, thank you very much. Now, Sister Ambreen Mehmood will teach us how to best gain from the Holy Quran this Ramadan. Sister Ambreen Mehmood, a dedicated member and former president of Minhaj Youth League Sisters for 4 years, currently holds the senior vice president role for Minhaj Sisters UK. Her passion for love, peace and harmony has inspired many young Muslim women to walk the truly peaceful path of Islam. A graduate in genetics from the University of Glasgow, Ambreen Mehmood studied at the Institute of Classical Islamic Sciences under the direct tutelage of world-renowned Shaykhul Islam Dr. Muhammad Tahir al-Qadri. Without further ado, I'm honoured to invite Miss Ambreen Mehmood.
نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين صدق الله العظيم. Dear respected viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It gives me great pleasure to be able to deliver a short discourse in the blessed month of Ramadan, and I would like to thank Minhaj Sisters for giving me this opportunity, and especially Sister Fatima Siddiqui for organizing such a wonderful and much needed series. May Allah Almighty accept all our efforts in His divine court and bless everyone in this blessed month through the intermediation of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ameen. As many of us know that the month of Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, and is truly a blessed month in which Allah Almighty has encompassed His divine mercy, forgiveness, blessings, and freedom from hellfire, and He has also locked away all the Satans to give us a chance to better our lives so that we may live in His obedience and His divine pleasure. Now a question arises in one's mind that why does month of Ramadan hold such a great status? What makes it such a unique month in which mercy, forgiveness, and blessings of Allah Almighty are at their peak? The reason for these infinite blessings is due to the fact that during this blessed month of the Holy Quran was revealed from Lawh Mahfuz to Bayt al-Izzah. And also during this blessed month, the first revelation was revealed upon the Holy Prophet ﷺ in the Mount Hira as well. So Allah Almighty dedicates a whole chapter of the Holy Quran to Laylatul Qadr, which is the night of power, stating in the following verse, "Surely we sent down this Holy Quran during the night of destiny." And while telling us about the Holy Quran being sent down during the blessed night, Allah Almighty informs us of the great virtue of this great night by saying, "The night of destiny is better than 1,000 months in merit, blessings, reward, and recompense." He further states that what happened in Laylatul Qadr in the following verse, "The angels and the Spirit of peace, Jibreel, descend by their Lord's command during this night with decrees concerning all matters of blessings and bounties." So from these verses we can see how special this one night is, and that it's better than 1,000 months with regards to merit, blessings, reward, and recompense. And this is all due to the fact that the Holy Quran was revealed during this night. So from these verses we come to know that the month of Ramadan is the month of Holy Quran. And due to this, when the month of Ramadan comes, one of the acts that we increase in abundance is the recitation of the Holy Quran in order to reap its spiritual rewards, as the rewards of any good deeds are multiplied manifold within this blessed month. No doubt, reciting the Holy Quran is a great act of worship. Unfortunately, in our race to finish the Holy Quran multiple times in the month of Ramadan, we have sadly failed to connect with the true spirit of the Holy Quran. And because we have undertaken such a great task to recite at least once the Holy Quran in the entire month of Ramadan, we cannot maintain this practice throughout the remaining 11 months of the year due to other commitments such as our lives revolving around education and work. Hence, many of us associate the recitation of the Holy Quran with the month of Ramadan and therefore open the Holy Book in this month alone and then sadly neglect the recitation in the coming 11 months. This is an incorrect perception, as 1500 years ago the Holy Quran was revealed upon the Holy Prophet ﷺ as a book of guidance for mankind till the end of time. Allah Almighty states in Surah Al-Baqarah that the month of Ramadan is the month in which the Quran has been sent down as guidance for mankind, containing clear signs which lead to the straight road and distinguishing between the truth from falsehood. When we read this verse and reflect upon its meanings, we come to know that the month of Ramadan signifies that it's the month in which the Holy Quran was revealed. But most importantly, the verse also highlights that the Holy Quran has been sent down as a guidance to mankind, containing clear signs leading to the straight path and also differentiating between false and truth and between good and evil. In the same surah, Allah Almighty further states that those who follow and seek guidance from the Holy Quran will be able to achieve real success. It is they who follow guidance from their Lord, and it's they who shall achieve real success. So we can see from this verse that real success can be only achieved if one follows and seeks guidance of the Holy Quran, which are the divine words of Allah Almighty. In another verse, Allah Almighty states that whoever will follow my guidance will never fear nor grieve. Then if there comes to you guidance from me, whoever will follow my guidance, neither shall any fear obsess them, nor shall they grieve. And in another verse, Allah Almighty states and gives glad tidings to the believers who seek guidance from the Quran. Say, whoever is an enemy to Jibreel is doing injustice, because he is the one who has brought the Quran, down upon your heart only by Allah's command, which confirms the preceding books and contains absolute guidance and glad tidings for the believers. So from these verses, we can see that Allah Almighty is continuously directing us towards the Holy Quran and referring it as a book of guidance, that from the Quran we can attain glad tidings, and if we become connected to it, we shall neither grieve nor be fearful in the hereafter. So the question arises, how are we able to attain guidance from the Holy Quran? Because through continuous recitation in Arabic language, which many of us do not understand, although we get the reward for the recitation, but it is not enough to illuminate our hearts and lives. How can then we seek guidance from it? How can we connect to the Holy Quran? In order to address these questions, firstly, as Muslims, we must be aware of the rights the Holy Quran has upon us. So in order to fully follow its guidance, it's imperative that we acknowledge these rights. By doing this only, then can we give the Quran its proper place in our lives and within our hearts. The rights of the Quran itself are demanded, just as the rights of everything else that is essential in a Muslim's life are mentioned within the Holy Quran and the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what are these rights of the Holy Quran? First right of the Holy Quran is that we are required to believe in the Holy Quran, that it's the divine book of Allah Almighty, and that there's no chance of doubt within it, and it's a book of guidance, as is clearly stated in the verse that I initially recited at the beginning of the speech. This is the glorious book in which there is no chance of doubt. It is a guide for those who guard against evil and fear Allah. These are the first verses of the Holy Quran, and it's interesting to note here that firstly Allah Almighty states the glorious book in which there is no chance of doubt. Subhanallah, this statement that Allah Almighty has made with regards to the Holy Quran is for all times. That there's no chance of doubt, meaning that no one can alter the Holy Quran, and the only reason that no one can alter this is because the Holy Book is in divine protection of Allah Almighty, as stated in Surah Al-Hijr. Assuredly, we alone have revealed this glorious admonition, the Quran, and surely we alone will guard it. This can be seen when you compare the scriptures of the Holy Quran from 1500 years ago till now, that not a single word has been altered in its text, and the reason for that is solely that it's in divine protection of Allah Almighty Himself. So therefore, the Holy Quran itself is a miracle. Second right of the Holy Quran is to recite it in a beautiful manner. It is stated in Surah Al-Muzammil, and recite the Quran with most pleasant pauses. So from this Quranic verse, we can deduce that the divine commandment to recite the Quran in a beautiful voice, but also with correct pronunciation, known as tajweed, and adhere to the rules of the Arabic grammar and the language as well. An important point to note here is that learning the basics of the Arabic language and tajweed is also an obligation upon a Muslim. As the famous fiqh principle states, whatever is needed to fulfill an obligation is an obligation as well. In other words, since the recitation of the Holy Quran is an obligation which can not be fulfilled without learning the correct principles of the tajweed and the Arabic language, so thus learning these principles and the language itself becomes obligation, as reciting the Holy Quran beautifully is a divine commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A beautiful point to note here is that Sayyidi Shaykh al-Islam, Dr. Muhammad Tahir al-Qadri, mentioned that we cannot touch Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nor can we smell Him or see Him, but we can touch His words, His language, as the words of the Holy Quran are the divine words of Allah Almighty, which were revealed to the Holy Prophet ﷺ via the angel Jibreel alayhi salam. So one way to connect to the Holy Quran is to love it and read it with the love and the knowledge that these words are the words of our beloved Lord, and also these words have been uttered by the blessed tongue of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Perceive the Holy Quran as words of love from your Lord, and if one perceives this, then we hold the beloved message to a very high esteem. We cherish it and we want to recite it again and again. What message our beloved has sent to us, what words has he uttered to us, what commandments has he given to us. With this perception, we can inshallah establish a link of love with the Holy Quran and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The third right of the Holy Quran is for us to be able to understand its message. As I mentioned at the beginning of the discourse, that the Quran is the book of guidance, and in order for us to adhere and follow the commandments outlined in the Holy Quran, we need to understand what Allah Almighty is saying to us. So reading the Holy Quran slowly and beautifully, but also at the same time have the translation of the Holy Quran alongside the Arabic text, and read the verse and then reflect upon the verse with heart and mind. When the Quran talks about the heaven, then your heart and mind should perceive what the heaven will look like. If it talks about hell and warns us, then our heart and mind should see the hell and refrain from the acts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding us against. If Allah Almighty talks about the rewards, then see and try to perceive what those rewards would be like. And if Allah is commanding us to do things that we should feel, then we should feel within our hearts that Allah Almighty is commanding me to act upon these commands. And again, if Allah Almighty forbids us from certain acts, then we should feel that Allah Almighty is telling me to refrain from these forbidden acts. So make that message, the whole message of the Holy Quran, as a personal message of Allah Almighty to you. So whatever you read, feel that in your heart. And whatever you read in the Holy Quran, absorb that within your heart and mind. Read one page or even one ruku. The quantity gives you reward, but doesn't revive your heart. And quality revives. The quality is the thing that revives your heart. But then you need to do this every day. Make this a part and parcel of your daily life. When you open the Holy Quran, think and imagine that you've entered the Quranic valleys, and whatever you're reading, convert it into your feelings. Read a few lines or half a page, and when you read one verse, don't continue on. Stop there and reflect. Ponder over the verse. Close your eyes and try to imagine what you have read. So again, if the Quran talks about the fountains flowing in the heavens, close your eyes and imagine and feel how would those fountains flow in the paradise. And if Allah Almighty speaks about the gardens, then try to imagine how those gardens will be like with the eyes of your heart and mind. And again, if He mentions about the nur and the light, then imagine what would that light be like. And when it's mentioned that about the proximity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, imagine how that would be. How would you feel being in the nearness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And what pleasure would you attain that? And again, when it's mentioned that Allah Almighty is being pleased with us, imagine how will He be pleased? So try to imagine and feel how would we feel if our sheikh, our parents, or anyone older is pleased with us? How do we feel at that time? And then imagine that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be happy with us. And how would we feel? How happy would we feel? So lose yourself into the feeling of that happiness and joy. And whatever we read, or whatever you read and understand, ponder over it. Absorb it into your heart and soul. And this is what is called tadabbur and tartil. Reading with tadabbur and tartil. So when you're reading with tartil, read with a tune. Everyone has their own tune, as Sayyid Shaykh al-Islam has said. So read it, understand, and absorb the feeling, and read it in your own time. Read it in seclusion. And this is what will revive our heart. Will give life to our heart. And when you read the Quran, perceive that you are sitting in the company of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Having this perception will give nur to the heart and life as well. And this is the advice, as I said, is from Sayyidi Shaykhul Islam on reviving one's heart through the recitation of the Holy Quran. There are many translations of the Holy Quran available today, but the one that I have been reading and would highly recommend is the Irfan al-Quran, also known as Glorious Quran, by His Eminence Sayyidi Shaykhul Islam, Dr. Muhammad Tahir al-Qadri. This translation is truly a unique translation and a great treasure for the Muslim Ummah. One of the great works and much needed for not only the youngsters in this day and age, but also for the entire Muslim Ummah. The beauty of this Quran is that it's not only a translation, but in brackets there is brief commentary as well, which gives a continuity and connection of each verse, and they flow together as the following verse is linked with the previous verse. It is in easy English for us to read and understand, but the way it's been translated truly captures one's heart and mind, and you just want to continue reading it. And you truly feel that Allah Almighty is talking to you, that you're in His company. And through this translation, you can truly experience the feelings and reflection of the verses. It's so easily done, and you don't need anyone's help in understanding the meaning, as it is simply as it's that simple and eloquently translated. The fourth right of the Holy Quran is to act upon its teachings. Part of belief comes from actions, because when you actually believe in something, you will also act upon what is the command or what is commanded, and the Holy Quran has the same basic right over us. When you claim to believe it, it should not be just by mere words, it should be proven by actions, as stated in the Holy Quran. Surely those who recite the book of Allah and establish prayer and spend secretly and openly in our way out of what we have given them look forward to a trade in the hereafter which will never run into loss. So from this verse we can see that the following mentioned acts, reading the Quran, establishing prayer and spending the way of Allah, are all acts of worship, are basically rewarded in the hereafter as well. And these are just a few examples, but these are very important pillars of Islam which are compulsory for us to follow. Now, the companions' approach to studying the Quran was a fusion of both memorization and application, as is narrated by Hazrat Abu Abdurrahman as-Sulamani, that we were informed by those who used to teach us the Quran, Uthman bin Affan, Ibn Masud and others, that they would learn 10 ayat at a time from the Prophet ﷺ, and they would not go beyond them until they had learnt the knowledge and application within them. They said, so we learnt the Quran along with its knowledge and application at the same time. So from this hadith, we can see that the companions would not continue on to learn the next verses until they had acquired the knowledge of the holy verses, but also applied these verses in letter and spirit within their lives. This is how strict and vigilant they were with regards to attaining the knowledge of the Holy Quran, seeking guidance from it in every aspect of their lives. In another hadith, it is stated by Mujahid bin Jabbar, I studied the entire Quran with the companion Ibn Abbas 3 times, from the first surah until the last. I would stop him at each ayah and ask him about it. So from here we can see Hazrat Mujahid bin Jabbar studied the Quran 3 times with Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radhiyallahu anhu, and he would stop at each verse so that he could understand and reflect upon these verses, understand what they meant, and to ensure he was aware of what the Holy Quran was saying. And no doubt he was acting upon the divine commandments outlined in the Holy Quran. And an interesting point that comes to mind is that when he was studying this Quran, he studied this 3 times under the guidance of Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radhiyallahu anhu. No doubt it didn't take them just a few months to go through the Quran 3 times. It must have taken them many years to fully go from one end, from the beginning to the end of the Holy Quran, because they want, with each verse that Hazrat Mujahid sought guidance from Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas, no doubt it wasn't just him giving him the exegesis of the Quranic verse within a couple of sentences. It must have been very in-depth study and discussion that they had which means, as I said, this study would have been going on for years, because not only was Hazrat Mujahid studying, but also implementing the verses of the Holy Quran within his life as well. So it was only a few companions in the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ who memorized the Quran from cover to cover, and yet the justice of Islam reached all corners of the world through them. They understood what little Quran they had memorized and applied it as well. Today, the Hafiz of the Quran are in tens of thousands. However, our situation as a Ummah has never been so fragile. The understanding, the pondering, the reflection of the verses and application of the Quran is missing, and thus we find ourselves in the dire situation, disconnected with the Holy Quran and its beautiful teachings. The final right of the Holy Quran is to convey its teachings to others. It's stated in a renowned hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, "Convey from me even if it is one verse." From this you can see how important it is to convey the message of Islam to others, even if you know one verse. Pass that knowledge on to others so that they too can benefit from the divine words of Allah Almighty. And in this day and age, Minhaj al-Quran and his forums under the guidance of His Eminence Sayyidi Shaykhul Islam are not only attaining the knowledge of the Holy Quran, but also are connecting and are being illuminated through the knowledge of the Holy Quran. And not only are we being illuminated through the knowledge of the Holy Quran and connecting to the Holy Quran, we are encouraged to act upon the teachings of the Holy Quran, and also not only act upon the teachings, but spread these beautiful teachings in their true form to the other people as well across the world. So these were the rights of the Holy Quran that it has over us as Muslims. Only by fulfilling these rights can we truly revive our hearts with love and nur of Allah Almighty, and we can only seek guidance if we understand, reflect and practice the teachings given by the Holy Quran, and only then can we achieve the proximity and the love of Allah Almighty and His beloved Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Finally, I would like to give a few suggestions as to how we can continue the practice of recitation of the Holy Quran for the next 11 months when this blessed month of Ramadan comes to an end. It's human nature that when we set out to do a good deed or build a new habit, we tend to burden ourselves to such an extent that we are not able to maintain that practice and hence give it up altogether. Rather than undertaking a huge amount which we cannot sustain over a long period of time, we should break down that act or task into a tiny habit. Because a tiny habit or tiny act or small act is better as quality than quantity, as stated in the holy hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. It is narrated by Abu Huraira that the Holy Prophet said, "Take up good deeds only as much as you're able, for the best deeds are those done regularly, even if they are few." So in light of this hadith, start off with reciting one verse of the Holy Quran with translation, so you can reflect upon the verse, understand its meanings and try to implement that within your life. So now that when you've thought of that tiny habit that you want to start off with, that one verse, you've set yourself a goal of reciting that. Now you need to anchor it or combine it with something you are already doing. For example, you're praying your 5 times salah, so you decide that you're going to recite that one verse either at Fajr time or Isha time. Hence, your prayers will become as a reminder for you to recite that one Quranic verse. And then once you've read that Quranic verse, you need to celebrate this act in a certain form. Because when you celebrate an act, the brain works with positive emotion and pays more attention to this. So the stronger the emotion or the positivity of your emotion, deeply the brain wires this, so that the brain will remember the effect and the positive feeling that it had by celebrating that, achieving that one verse of the Holy Quran. So once you've read your verse, as a celebration, you can say Alhamdulillah and show gratitude to Allah Almighty, as Allah Almighty says, and recall when your Lord proclaimed, "If you're thankful, I shall certainly increase my blessings on you." So by thanking Allah Almighty, He will increase His blessings upon you, this will make you happy and you'll have a sense of achievement that you have fulfilled your goal. And because the habit is tiny, you won't have trouble maintaining it. And then once this habit is established, it can take as little as 40 days or longer, depending on how deep-rooted you want this habit to become. And once this is established, you can increase the recitation of the Holy Quran or combine another habit such as reading a hadith of the Holy Prophet ﷺ as well. Lastly, I would advise you to keep a journal and take down notes and some points from the verse that you've recited and reflect upon that. Write that reflection within your journal and try to incorporate that reflection and the guidance that you've reflected upon and seen from the Holy Quran or attained from the Holy Quran, and incorporate it within your daily life. And in the night, reflect and hold yourself accountable to see if you were able to achieve this. So a journal is a good way of accountability and a form of reflection. So these are the two ways which can create a habit of reciting the Holy Quran within our daily lives. And in order to benefit and reflect upon the verses and what they mean to you, you can use the journal to apply that and hold yourself accountable. In conclusion, we must firmly believe that the Holy Quran is our ultimate source of guidance and must make it a priority in our life. And in order to connect to the Holy Quran, we must recite it daily while trying to understand the verses by reading this translation and also reflecting upon the verses and absorbing the words and meanings within our heart and mind in order to revive our dead hearts with the note of Allah and His love. And in doing so, the teaching of the Quran should not only be manifested within our lives alone, but we should also reach out to others and pass this beautiful message, even if it's conveyed that one verse. So by fulfilling the rights of the Holy Quran, only then can we attain the proximity and the pleasure of Allah Almighty and His beloved Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. May Allah Almighty accept our humble efforts in His divine court and bless us through the intermediation of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Everything good I've said comes from my beloved Shaykh Sayyidi Shaykhul Islam, and anything wrong I've said is from me alone, and for that I seek forgiveness in the court of Allah Almighty. Jazakallah khair for listening. Wa ma alayna illa al-balagh.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you teach us about how to best take advantage of the Quran during Ramadan. Thank you for teaching us about the rights of the Holy Quran and how to awaken our spiritually dead hearts. That's the end of session 3. Thank you for attending. Tune in next Saturday to learn how to best gain from Laylatul Qadr with Sister Ifra Kausar. Don't forget to follow Minhaj Sisters UK on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter to stay updated. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.